Hey guys, welcome to Double Shot of Steelers. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, soon to be joined by Chris Halleck, our beat writer. It's the last weekend without football for quite some time. Apologies to those of you who follow college and other forms of football. Me, it's the NFL. And when there's no NFL for a weekend, you know, even with the bye weeks, you've got some teams playing. You've got something to watch. In fact, it's kind of a more chill way to enjoy the sport because you're not all ad infested. You're not getting angry and emotional and everything else. One game is coming up next week, an actual game. It's a road game. It's a game that I'm sure by the time the football flies, there's going to be a lot of buildup for it. And that's as far as I'm going to go in making a prediction, for the simple reason that I don't do predictions. I stopped doing those in general, in writing and everything. When was this? Probably about 2 or 3 years ago. Because what I found out was everybody was so into whatever it was that you picked, and they found it to be easily more memorable than all of the actual reporting and the real work that you do. That's all I'd hear about forever and ever. Yeah, you're the guy who picked them to go, I don't know, 9-8 or something. And look at you with egg on your face. Like, well, hang on a second. Hang on. First off, I'm a reporter, not a bettor, not a seer, not Nostradamus. And secondly, I did a lot of other work in there too. You know, I put a lot of emphasis on this or that detail and finding stuff out. So I just said, you know what? If I'm not that, no matter how much people want it, no matter how many page views it gets, no matter how many video views it gets or podcast downloads it gets, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing predictions. I'm not doing exactly what Stanton Smith just did here. 11-6, trust. See, as soon as you mention it, people go, whoa, they go off the reservation with it. Predictions, picks, awesome. Now, I don't say anything to the staff, our staff at DK Pittsburgh Sports. They can do them as much as they want, and they do. If you find them fun, if you find them fruitful, if you find them to be something that your viewers or listeners or readers want, awesome, good for you. I'm not doing them anymore. But DV says here, he says, DK, I wish everybody made that rule about predictions like you do. It's refreshing. I don't, respectfully, DV, I don't know that you do wish that, because you'd still be looking for everybody's picks. And I feel bad in some cases. Like there's this guy in Sweden who does this annual poll of hockey writers to get their NHL picks. And he's been getting in touch with me for years. And he says, okay, I'm ready for your NHL picks. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I don't do predictions anymore. Hopefully you'll have to settle for the reporting that leads into other people making their picks. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find out actual information, not the future. And that includes, by the way, with player moves. I'll use an example of somebody who's not me, and that's Chris. Chris had an original exclusive report the other day about how the Steelers were not going to be pursuing Terry McLaurin. And that was instantly construed by probably more than half of everybody that he was predicting that this just wasn't going to happen. No, that's not what he said. He had actually found out information from the Steelers that they weren't interested in this player. Well, it wasn't going to happen anyway. What kind of a big scoop is this? He's just sharing information. Nobody's trying to predict the future with this stuff. It's just news. It's just news. It's all it is. Damien says, you guys give us enough information to formulate our own stances on what should happen. Go nuts. You can do whatever it is that you want with the information that we provide. Okay. And that includes the opinions that we provide. I'll give you another example. This one's a little bit bigger one. When I was telling you guys all summer long I'm not in favor of this Aaron Rodgers thing. Well, why was that? And I say, I have a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for here? I was really cringy about having him just come here and magically pretend that he's all into this. And why does he even need this? And I was concerned about that, legitimately concerned about that, where I was not concerned about it as it related to Mason Rudolph. All right. So I do this. I do it all summer. What I hear about it after I watch Rodgers with my own eyes become a terrific teammate, show wonderful arm strength and accuracy and everything else, and say to I then relay to you guys what I'm seeing and hearing about this guy. And I say, listen, my concerns were not founded. He came in here and showed me and showed everybody. What I get back from a lot of people is, oh, it's nice of you to say you were wrong. Wrong? No, I had concerns at the time. You know, I had concerns. Steeler girl out in Hawaii. You can read her right there. She had concerns too. Does that mean she was wrong? No, additional information came along. That's all. And I passed along additional information to you. Nobody made a prediction here. I didn't anyway. I didn't make a prediction that Aaron Rodgers was going to fall on his face. I was worried about it, and I feel like that was justified. So hopefully that explains some of this stuff. At any rate, having said all of that, in one great hypocritical swoop, I'm about to invite your predictions and your picks. Okay. We're also going to get Chris's when we come back, and we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about some stuff here.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Yeah, see, it won't stop here. Like HMJ says, Deshaun Elliott was interviewed on Cam Hayward's podcast, and he admitted that he was wrong about Aaron too. I wasn't wrong. I was right to be worried. I was right to express what I expressed, in my opinion. You might have a different opinion. But I wasn't making a prediction for the future. That's kind of my point here. And that's why I just said once and for all a couple of years ago, I'm getting completely out of this. Okay, if I tell you that the Steelers are interested, for example, in some free agent, or they're interested in making some kind of trade, or like I did this week, original reporting that the Steelers' top priority to sign somebody from the outside is an offensive tackle. Here, this is actually a better example than anything I've given so far, because this was just this week. Their priority above getting a wide receiver is getting another offensive tackle. That's not me predicting that they're going to go do it, that they're going to go execute it. It's me telling you what their interest is. And the reason that I know what their interest is they, told me. I'm not guessing at it. I didn't need backup offensive tackle depth as a show subject to lure in lots of viewers. Okay. That's not the sexiest subject around. But they told me that. I relayed it to you. So if the Steelers go and sign a backup offensive tackle, or trade for one, obviously, if they do that, it's not going to mean that I was right, that I predicted the future. No, it's just going to mean that they went and did the thing that they told me they were trying to do. If they don't sign one, it's not going to mean that I was wrong because I predicted that they were going to go get one. I didn't. So I hope this helps to explain sometimes, because you can see, that I'll get a little edgy on this kind of stuff. And it's because we're trying to do this, what we feel, at least in our world, is the right way. And we're not just randomly making up predictions and seeing where it is that it falls, and then hoping that you think that we're the authorities because we forecast the future, or worse, come up with hot takes. You know, do you know what? I don't know if you know what I consider to be hot takes. Hot takes are the ones where you just say, listen, if Will Howard isn't the starting quarterback by, I don't know, November, then this team's scouting directors need to be fired. That kind of crap. You know, where you go so over the top just to get people to pay attention to you, just to get people to talk about you and whatever. And that's, you know, no thanks. Anyway, I'm going to read some of your responses here before we get to your actual, because you guys are Nostradamus in the collective. DV says that nobody's predictions are worth any salt. It's true. It's true. I mean, Nostradamus had a thing going. Now, he did some impressive stuff. Have you ever seen some of the quatrains where he missed like Hitler's name by one letter? He called him Hister, stuff like that. That's when you're on your game. You know, if Nostradamus had just woken up on the right side of the bed that day, he would have gotten the name completely correct. Ryan Lytle says that's why I get any news that I read about any Pittsburgh sports team from our app. That's appreciated. Looking here, I had another one that I wanted to get. Oh, yeah, Carol. She says, we understand that you report the team does what it does. They're the ones who change it. That's the other thing. These things can vary. If the team tells us, hey, we're really, really into this guy, we really think the world of him. Okay, let's say, for example, before the draft, and we come here and we say to you, wow, the Steelers, they're loving. Just give you a name here, Jackson Dart. Oh, they love Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's the greatest. And you'll hear that, and it's going to come across to some people anyway as a prediction. Steelers, so-and-so said that the Steelers are going to draft Jackson Dart. No. But even the interest level can change. So then the Steelers get a call, and they find out something about Jackson Dart that they didn't know about. And they go, oof, geez, yikes. I don't mean to do this to poor Jackson Dart. Just scratch that dude off the list. No, thanks. The same stuff with the Deion's kid stuff. You know, it's like, we knew they wanted nothing to do with him. We knew this. Now, one magical morning, they could have woken up and said, we're changing our mind here. We heard some stuff about him that we liked, or the NFL gives you a call and says, maybe you should take this kid, not embarrass us on some national stage or whatever. Dr. K here says, wasn't Nostradamus breathing in volcano fumes? If so, he was just high all the time. A lot of really good work has been done by humans over the course of history when they are in some form or other intoxicated. So if Nostradamus was just totally whacked out when he was doing these quatrains, that might explain a lot of things. And I mean that in a good way. And that comes from somebody who's never even been high. No, I really haven't. I don't know if that makes you think I'm lame. A lot of people get that reaction when I say that. Let's see if we can bring in Chris here. And that would be, it's not this box. I'm always having a hard time with which box it is. You got this, Chris?
Yeah, I'll get it. Hold on.
Double.
Here we go. Got it right there.
Which one was it? So I know for the future.
So overlay, it's double shot 16.
Double shot 16.
Under media assets and then overlay. And then it's the third one from the left.
Oh, I wasn't even looking in the right place. What do I know? How are you, Chris?
I'm doing good. It's been a bit of an interesting day, but still a good day. It's been good. Got a fantasy outlook up on our app. You are
look at Chris trying to predict the future. This is what I'm talking about. This is the problem with journalism. He's not doing that at all.
No.
See, here again, even the fantasy outlook that he's done, I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Even that is an outlook that is based on current circumstances.
Yep.
And past precedent.
Yep.
Okay. So if Chris says that DK Metcalf is worth if he's at a top 10 or a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. Well, no. I'm just saying if he does say that, okay, hypothetically, and then Metcalf, like, I don't know, bombs or gets hurt or whatever here, he didn't predict anything.
Right. And so that's the thing about fantasy is that, you try to take things that you can quantify and then you try to make predictions from it. So, like, for example, DK Metcalf consistently, like in Seattle, had 100 plus targets every single year. So, he's capable of it. He's done it every single year he's been in the NFL, and he's the bona fide number one receiver on this team. That tells you he's going to get probably 100 plus targets again, which means high volume, and knowing his ability, he's probably going to be a pretty productive wide receiver. So, react accordingly and draft accordingly. But then when you look at running back situations like what Steelers have with Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson and Kenneth Gainwell, that's a lot of touches being split up, and that makes none of them really reliable fantasy options because fantasy is all about accumulating stats, and best way to get stats is to get touches. And if you have touches minimized, that hurts your value. So, but again, you could not draft Jalen Warren until the 11th round, and then Caleb Johnson gets injured or Kenneth Gainwell gets injured or something happens, and Jalen Warren turns into Arian Foster, turns into some sort of, insanely talented, bona fide number one running back.
Mm-hmm.
Never know.
So, yeah, I just blurted out to everybody that I've never been high. I've never had a drink, and it's not some pious thing or whatever. My late mom had trouble with, with alcohol and so forth. I saw what it did to her at times, and I was like, not for me. And then what ends up happening is, like, you get through childhood and you get through your 20s and whatever, and you never did it. And then it's like a streak.
Yeah. Right.
So my running joke, I've never told you this, Chris, as long as I'm fessing everything today. My running joke for decades now has been that I will have my first drink when the Pirates win their division. Now, not as a fan or whatever else here, but that was my way of making sure that the streak is intact. Not that the Pirates win it all. Not that they hoist their 6th World Series trophy. Okay. Winning their division. Yeah. It's the most underappreciated slam on that team that exists. That they haven't won a division since 1992.
I was 5. I was 5 years old.
Not since 1992. Tony Watson, terrific relief pitcher for the Pirates in their most recent run of success, which was 2013 to 15 when they made
really good reliever. Yeah.
Well, really good team. Yeah. The 2015 Pirates won 98
wins.
games.
Yeah.
Okay. They just got screwed over by a
one-game wild card.
Terribly unfair playoff format that justifiably no longer exists, or the Pirates could have won the World Series that year, but they didn't. They didn't because they didn't finish first, because they always finish behind St. Louis. If you know about that streak, that's 30 some years running. They always finish behind the Cardinals. They finished behind the Cardinals that year. And Tony Watson once said to me, this was after his retirement, saw him in Bradenton. He said, my biggest regret, and a lot of our biggest regret, the guys that were on that team, is that we never even got to fly a flag at PNC Park. And we're outside the outfield. They have those black and gold pennants, the gold writing on the black. You know which ones I'm talking about, behind right field along the river. And you see, those are the division champions. Mm-hmm. Those are actual pennant winners. And you don't get anything for a wild card. Nope. Out there, you made the playoffs. You participated in the playoffs, but you don't get anything for it. And that really hit me in a different way, But I've never had. Yeah, Cody says I'm going to be sober forever. I mean, there's a really, really good chance of that.
Oh yeah,
but I don't put it out on my kids or anything like that. My kids have had drinks or whatever. My wife does whatever. I'm not going to let the streak go.
No, it's all good. I don't mind confessing. I've never smoked anything in my life. Not a cigarette, not weed. You don't have to worry about drug testing me when it comes to that.
I wouldn't even know how. Like, I see people do it like it looks really easy, but like I would probably like gag or whatever.
I've never had the desire to inhale smoke. regardless of the effects that it has. Like, that's just been my own thing. I feel like I'd choke on it. So that's just me. Now, I've not done the drinking thing. I've definitely had drinks, but my 19 and 20-year-old self will attest to that. But
yeah, and I don't hold, by the way, I'm not being judging here. I don't hold it against anybody.
Oh, no,
I think I'm the weirdo in this. Okay. But I'm just throwing it out there. It's just that's something that's, that's never been the case here. And Carol brought it up because Nostradamus, or somebody else brought it up, actually. I forget who. Sorry. That Nostradamus was stoned because he was living near a volcano, I guess. And the volcanic ash had him high all the time, and he was able to make predictions. I think that's pretty much the only person in the history of civilization who should be allowed to make predictions. And when it comes to sports, here's what I found out here, and Chris knows this because I remember Chris looked at me like this whenever I said a couple of years ago, we do staff picks every week.
Oh yeah,
on our app, okay, and we'll go and we get Ramon Foster's pick and Matt Williamson's pick, and we put them all together in one spot. And Chris makes his, and he's like, "Hey, I haven't gotten yours yet." And I'm like, "I'm not doing it anymore."
I did. I was like,
and you're like, "What the hell? What's wrong with you?" And I tried to explain that that's the only thing anybody remembers. We do all this coverage all week long.
It's true. Well, we
do all coverage all week long, and we work our rear ends off, and we're traveling all over the place and getting you all this good stuff. And all anybody remembers is that you put down that the Steelers were going to win 31-17. You idiot! And they didn't.
Yeah. What's really funny is that we have a running joke with everybody who's subscribed to our app. Whenever they make comments, anytime the entire staff picks the Steelers to win, everybody in the comment, I won't say everybody, but most people in the comments are like, "Oh God, oh, you jinxed it. Jinxed it. They're gonna lose now."
Fourth grade talk.
And
they're jinxing something.
And what's funny is, what's really funny about it is I actually kept a record of how the Steelers did whenever we all picked the Steelers to win the game.
How'd you do?
Vast majority of the time we were right.
You know why? To go back to yesterday's show, because they usually take care of business,
right?
Contrary to some other mythology. I just don't like when it all gets even. I don't want to be too loud here, but even here, when people will come in, I think they're just here for shopping, but they'll come in and they'll just poke their head in the door like a delivery guy, service workers and so forth downtown. Just poke their head in. "Hey DK, who you got this weekend?" And I'm like, "It's gotta be a good game." I don't know. You don't get rude about it and give them all this spiel, but I just say, "Hey, I'm looking forward to it," or whatever.
Yeah. Bus driver Al asks, "Who's the best predictor out of me, Ramon, and Matt?"
See,
it was pretty even last year. I think I had the best record of the three of us, but it wasn't by much. And if anything, I think Williamson and I tied. But my record prediction was off by only a game. I guess 9-8. They went 10-7.
See, to me though, if you talk about the way you and Matt do things, okay, it's done from an analytical perspective. It's done from not just statistics, but also from film breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
I cover 3 teams. I don't have time for all that. But you guys do that. I would rather hear from you and Matt, and of course from Ramon, based on his unparalleled experience. How many people play 11 years in the NFL? Think about that for a second. Non-quarterbacks.
Yeah.
How many non-quarterbacks have played 11 years in the NFL? And you have Ramon, and you have an asset like that, and you're asking him for his prediction?
Yeah.
I want to learn from him. I want to find out what this actually means. Whenever you guys faced Lamar Jackson, what were you talking about? How did you, whatever? I don't want to hear his prediction.
Yep.
Respectfully, I want to hear the inside stuff, and I'll make up my own mind who I think is going to win. Meaning, as you guys, I don't get this one. Denny says predicting outcomes is for barnyard animals on pregame shows. I don't get that.
I mean, it's just, I think it's like,
is that a thing?
No, but what he's saying is just like it's It's the thing that all the pregame shows do. They always do. Hey, what's your prediction for this game? And they have the little ticker at the bottom, and it shows like Terry Bradshaw's prediction, and they do all that, and it's funny because then like fans will like hold on to that. Like I guarantee you right now. Like I looked at the graphic from NFL of the 10 people predicting the Steelers-Jets game, and all but one chose the Steelers to win. And I guarantee you there are a bunch of Jets fans right now clinging to that graphic, saving that graphic on their phone. And if the Jets happen to win in week 1, they're like, oh, look at all those 9 guys who are wrong.
But the team's social media department will do that, and then they'll throw it up afterward. They do that a lot here. Damian says that people are probably asking for gambling advice, and that's another sticky thing where we don't want to. We're not responsible for the way you bet. And that's also part of the reason, I'm sure, why people get really mad afterward. You picked them to be like whatever. I didn't tell you to go put your house on it, dude.
And also, there's a big difference between choosing who's going to win a game and who's going to like how the betting line is going to go. If the Steelers are favored by 3.5 points and they only win by 3, guess what? If you chose the Steelers to win by 3.5, you lost. Even if the Steelers won, you still lost because they didn't cover. I mean, like, no, I would. That's why I don't bet. Like, I'm not one of those. I don't do the parlays. I don't do all this stuff on DraftKings and all this stuff. I just don't do it. I do other like fun, like fantasy things. Like you fill out a fantasy lineup on a weekly basis, and then you could possibly win some money. But I'm putting down like dollars, like a couple of bucks.
Yeah, nobody's saying this is where lifted ones. I knew this was going to start happening. He says predictions make the game fun and interesting. Not sure what the big deal is. Nobody's saying there's a big deal. This is a personal preference. That's all. We're reporters. We're reporting news to you. I just don't see the two tasks as being as symmetrical as most people seem to. Okay. My goal here in accumulating information is not to share with you a prediction. It's not my end game on this. Okay. Yeah. So I decided to just completely cut it off my list here because to really accentuate that point. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not trying all week long, the way the people on the Sunday morning shows are, to invest every waking hour to try to get my pick right. I could not care less about a prediction. That's it. Yeah. For the people who do that for a living, great. All I'm saying is it's not me. The PEF gets the last word on this subject, says predictions are fun for me personally. I enjoy seeing them and making them. Sadly, the internet just gets annoying about it. It is what it is. I have no problems with people betting, have no problems with people wanting or making predictions. I'm just saying that I don't do them, and I don't do them for a reason. That's all. Bubba says, hey, DK, we'll see soon, but are the Steelers running to the bus stop with no pants on without a true WR2? I thought Omar Khan had learned his lesson. Omar did learn his lesson, and we're not guessing at that. So Chris, I'm going to keep myself safe here and roll this one over in your direction. But Omar was aware. The Steelers as a whole were aware that they got burned in 2024 by not having someone when George Pickens went down, didn't they?
Yes, they did. And I understand that right now, if DK Metcalf goes down with an injury, you're looking at the Steelers receiver room and you're like, yep, see, they didn't learn their lesson. There's still not a guy who could take DK Metcalf's spot. But see, a couple of things to put that into perspective. Number one, not every team is Cincinnati or Dallas. Not every team has two bona fide number ones on their roster at wide receiver. They just don't. Like those guys are the exception, not the rule. So if any team's number one wide receiver goes down, they're usually in a lot of trouble. That's just pretty typical. Then you go into the fact that look at the Steelers' collection of pass catchers and try to tell me that it is worse than it was last year. It's not. George Pickens and Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson and Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington and Michael Pruitt as your fourth tight end are not better than DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson and Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith, who we keep forgetting about, by the way, who caught 88 passes for 884 yards last year. Like the collection of pass catchers is better this year than it was last year. Now, would you like to see, and would the Steelers like to shore up having another wide receiver as insurance for Metcalf going down? Sure. And they've looked and they've made calls about it. Omar Khan did not call the Commanders about Terry McLaurin just to give him a nice little summer greeting. He actually called to see if this is an actual possibility. Whenever they find out what they found out about McLaurin wanting to be a number one guy, not just get number one money, but being a number one guy, they're like, okay, well, that's not happening because DK is our number one guy. So thanks. Appreciate the information. We're moving on. But they're not just going to add a guy. You can go get Kendrick Bourne. Are you going to feel any better about the team if DK Metcalf goes down, if you have Kendrick Bourne on the roster? I don't. Not Kendrick Bourne. Sorry, like he's a good receiver, but he's not an X.
No, he's not. DV says, DK, you've technically been predicting that Omar's not done all offseason, but there's the caveat that done can include making calls with no success, and you'd still be technically correct. No, it's not technically correct. It's just correct. See, here's the thing. When I say Omar's not done, I don't mean he's not done with results. I mean he's still attempting to get people. Okay, now we're not at liberty to say how, but both Chris and I know this to be totally true. Okay, like 100% verifiably true. That's the beginning and the end of what's correct here. It's not technically correct, no asterisk, no nothing. Omar is trying to bring in, number one, a backup offensive tackle, number two, a WR2. If he doesn't get him, he doesn't get him. It doesn't mean that your prediction was wrong. It means that that's what he's trying to do. That's not hiding behind a technicality or euphemism or anything like that. It's just saying what it is. But if you hear it without the framework of a prediction, then it'll make a whole lot more sense to you here. Randy asks, the Giants and the Jets both play at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Is there a difference in the fan base there? A long time ago, I used to listen to New York radio on those occasions when I was driving through there on other assignments. You know, the late night stuff, the 24-hour sports that I don't think anybody has anymore. And you're listening to these fans, and they would open the shows. For one thing that's weird about New York, by the way, they used a singular of the team's nickname as an adjective. That's unique to New York. They'll say, "I'm a Giant fan. I'm a Jet fan."
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
Oh, I lived in northern New Jersey for 11 years. I absolutely know what you're talking about.
They never ever use the plural. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There's nowhere else in America or Canada where that's the case. All right. So anyway, just throwing that in there. Yeah. They introduced themselves at the beginning of the call. Say, "Hey, Larry, this is Bill from the Bronx, and I'm a Giant fan." If there's any geographic distinction between what constitutes somebody who follows the Giants or the Jets, or for that matter, the Yankees or the Mets, I'm unaware of it. The only teams that they have that have a clear delineation when it comes to geography, and boy, will they bite my head off for this, but it's so true, are the Rangers and the Islanders. Yeah. And the reason I say they would bite my head off is they don't even consider the Islanders to be a New York team.
Yeah.
Okay? It's Long Island, man. It's way over there.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't associate us with them. And they hate each other too. It's different. The Devils are actually based closer to the Rangers than the Islanders are.
Yeah.
But they don't want any part of that. When you walk through Manhattan, the NHL store, the merchandise store that they have, you see Rangers, Islanders. You'll even see other teams. You see a lot of Hartford Whalers because of the awesome logo. You will see no Islanders. It's just those people are the lowest of the low in their eyes. But anyway, Jets and Giants, Yankees and Mets, I have no earthly idea what separates them. I do know that there are 13 million people in that market, so they've got enough to cover two teams. That's it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. No, I when I lived in that area, I lived there. It was literally from birth to age 11. So my worldview was obviously very, very small at that time. But my own personal, from memories I have of even being around, because I used to go to Giant Stadium all the time. And yes, this is dating myself here. This is when Giant Stadium was still there, and Continental Airlines Arena was still there. But
that was the Devil's old place for anybody who doesn't know, and the Nets when they were there. It was on the same complex. Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I used to go. I went to several Devils games when the Penguins were in town, because my dad, grew up in Pittsburgh, so we went to watch the Penguins when Mario and Yager and Francis and all those guys played. And then I went to a lot of Nets games, but I went to Giant Stadium quite a bit. I always saw more like stuff, I don't know, more interest, I guess, in the Giants than the Jets. But that was, again, my own personal view.
Yeah, and also it's all relative to success too. I don't know.
The Giants were a better team then too. And that's when Phil Simms was still the quarterback.
I know that the Jets had an opportunity, and they tried to seize it in New York's bid to get the Summer Olympics, to have a stadium built just for the Jets that was going to be on the water over. What's the other river? There's the Hudson, and then there's the East River.
I'm not even sure. I know the Hudson.
It's I don't know. Whichever river is between Manhattan and New Jersey. Okay.
No, Delaware's on the other side.
No, it's not the Delaware. No, I think it's the East River. So anyway, they were going to actually build the stadium out onto that.
Mm-hmm.
Which would have been wild, not to mention unbelievably expensive. The problem was the Jets wanted the state of New York and everybody else to pay for it, and they were like, "No, we're not doing that."
It is the East River, by the way.
It is the East River, yeah. Okay, so, but anyway, that's what they were going to do, and then that would have made them an actual New York team. I'm always getting on them for the whole New Jersey thing, but that's where they play.
That is where they play.
Believe me, if the Steelers ever move to Ohio, we're going to call them the Ohio Steelers. Or if any of our teams moved out of Pittsburgh proper, the actual city, believe me, I'll be calling them the Cranberry Penguins or whatever. Penguins do practice up there, which I already have a problem with. But
yeah,
that's another tale for another show. Ned says here, where was this? Ned says that using the singular is grammatically correct. It's not. I'm a Jet fan. I'm a Steeler fan. Then he says, let's consult the AP style book. Where do you think I got this from, dude? Chris, who adheres more closely that you've ever known to the AP style book?
Trust me, I fight him on
AP Nazi.
Trust me, I fought for a couple things on this that goes against AP style, and I lose that battle every time. No, Oxford commas for the win, guys. Oxford commas for the win. Use them.
I went at it with a competitor reporter to my left in Charlotte, who was arguing with me whether or not Charlotte as a dateline takes an NC. I said, of course it takes an NC. It's nowhere near significant enough to stand alone. The way, for example, Pittsburgh is.
Yeah.
You don't see Pittsburgh, PA in the dateline. Why? It's just Pittsburgh, man. Everybody knows where it is. We're a special city in AP's minds. I had a good.
I love seeing everybody support me on Oxford commas. It's great.
And I kill all your Oxford commas.
I know. Well, I mean, I don't.
Me do it. You watch me take them out back and shoot them first in the kneecaps so that there's pain, and then and then up top to finish the job.
See. The thing is, I kill my own Oxford commas before they can even possibly be read by whoever's editing my story, because I'm a responsible writer to adhere to the style, even though I really want to use them.
There's Taylor does too. She does too. She loves the Oxford comma.
It makes more sense. It separates everything that you're listing.
There are occasions where the Oxford comma it can be acceptable. Sergio gets us back on track here. He tries to anyway, and says, "Hey DK and Chris, will Patrick Queen be the top linebacker at the end of the season? Inside linebacker." The answer to that is that he is the number one inside linebacker right now. He is the one who's going to get the overwhelming majority of the snaps, and he is the one whose 2024 season with the Steelers has been grossly underappreciated. I believe, this is just an opinion, that was because he had a shaky start. He missed some tackles early on. He didn't look like the instant superstar. He didn't meet everybody's social media expectations of being Roquan Smith's equivalent. And then you were going to lose all of your arguments with Baltimore fans. But he is a hell of a football player.
He really is. Like I remember the reaction, because it wasn't that long ago, but whenever because the NFL Top 100 is coming out, and Patrick Queen was like number 75 or something like that, and the reaction ahead of Cam. Now the NFL Top 100 is voted on by the players, like the guys who actually play the game. They're the ones who vote on this. And I remember the reaction being like, "Oh God, this list is automatically not qualified. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's
because of PQ."
Yeah, because it's like, because Patrick Queen was on there and he was higher. This just goes to show you the respect and the reputation that he has around the league by his peers. If you were to be judged by anybody, you want to be judged by your peers, right? I mean. Come on. Like this guy is a really, really good football player. And because he doesn't make 100% of the tackles, not everybody can be Deshaun Elliott. Okay.
Yeah.
Not everybody can make 100% of their tackles.
Steeler fan says, I thought this episode was supposed to be about listener picks. Hey, we can do that. We've got about 10 minutes left. Bring us your picks. We'll look at them. We'll read them. We might even comment on them. Okay, that doesn't mean we're going to make our own. Well, I'm not going to make my own. Chris can do whatever he wants, but you can send your picks in. I'll put them up. We'll have some fun with it. In the meantime, Mark Cunningham says, "Hey DK, the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce is online too. I love how you love my hometown, dude. All I'm trying to do is compensate. We are so negative here. We don't do ourselves any favors. Somebody comes here, people come here from other places around the world, and they go, this is unbelievable. This place is beautiful. They go up to Mount Washington. It's like they've gone to Eden. And you know what we do with that? We're like, yeah, but have you seen this and this and this? And wow. I don't know. I don't know that that's ever going to change. I don't know that that's ever going to change. We trash ourselves nonstop, especially the heart and soul of our region down here, which is crazy. Our downtown is gorgeous.
I'm trying to think of a time, and I really, really don't think I remember now granted, the loss was bad for sure, but I remember some of the reaction when the Steelers lost in the AFC Championship in 2016 to the Patriots, and they lost bad. I mean, that was up in Foxborough. Le'Veon Bell was hurt. It wasn't a great reaction, and there was
cover anybody, yeah,
right. But I'm like, they just got one game away from the Super Bowl. They were one of the final four teams in the NFL, and the reaction is like the season was an absolute catastrophe. It's like the only time I remember a team losing.
Yeah, you're talking about sports, though. I'm actually not in this case.
Okay,
you can't get people. The only people who ever speak well of Pittsburgh are the ones w'ho've already left. Okay. Like if you're here, you don't have people saying like, wow, this is just the greatest place. And it's not until you leave that you appreciate it. Okay. Or if you're gone for a while and you come back and you realize how only city in the world with an entrance, a mountain. There's 3 cities in the entire hemisphere that have a mountain right next to them for the view. That's us and Rio de Janeiro and Montreal. And I've been to all 3 of them, and ours is the best by far. But you don't hear anybody saying that. Yeah. I don't want to be the unicorn here, because what I feel like what I'm saying here isn't to tout it or to pump it up. I feel like it's true. And I feel like you need more courage in our city to say something positive about the city than you do to say something negative. And I really, really hate that. We're getting to some of these predictions here. Finally, I promised. Bus driver Al says that people forget that the Steelers were 10-3 at one point last year. I think the Steelers will be much better this year at 12-5. 12-5 is asking a lot of any football team in the modern NFL. Al, I just want to say that out loud. I don't think it's inconceivable, but it's asking a lot. That said, here comes Wade, 12-5, and lose in the AFC Championship.
Would anybody take that season right now?
Everybody.
Everybody should. In today's NFL, with how loaded the AFC is, you should absolutely take a 12-5 record with an AFC Championship loss.
Yeah, Jim says when you leave and you come back, the negativity definitely stands out. Chris, you just lived that. Mm-hmm. You were here for a bit, and then you went back. You had to go back to Arlington, Texas for a while, and then you came back. Did you notice that?
I maybe because the majority of my interactions with people are either people who live outside of the city, or the only people who I really interact with inside the city are you guys. So I don't.
And
get
we're
that.
we're all such charmers.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't necessarily get that. Yeah, I can see how people can see that for sure, but I think what social media does is social media really kind of twists the truth in a lot of ways. And a really great example to kind of put this back on the Steelers perspective is when the negotiation between the Steelers and TJ Watt was ongoing and there was all the talk about trades and everything, the amount of people that wanted to get rid of TJ and thought that he wasn't worth the money, like, go to actual Steelers fans who show up to the games and who go to attend the practice and training camp. It really is.
Yeah.
And so I think the people that trash like actual like downtown Pittsburgh and the city of Pittsburgh and everything,
a lot of that's politics, though. Not to get into a touchy subject here, but a lot of that's convenient now to just slam the cities and to make up things about the cities that aren't true. Look, we have a window here behind us. This show's live. Yeah. Okay. If you're going to see stuff, you'd see it. Okay. We're on for an hour pretty much every day. Carol's going with 17-0 and winning the Super Bowl because that's her dream. That's yeah. We love you, Carol. Nakia says Pittsburgh is great. The food is great. By the way, totally underestimated component of Pittsburgh. We talk about Permanis like it's what we eat here. Pittsburgh is very much a food city.
Do you know what I get more than anything when it comes to like having living in Pittsburgh now and then living in Texas for as long as I did is which food do you prefer? And it's a hard answer. Like I kind of give a cop out. If I want carbs, give me Pittsburgh food. And if I want protein, give me Texas food just because of the Texas barbecue alone.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. When in Rome.
But
when I'm in Texas, I eat the same way I do when I'm in Alberta, pal. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm looking for something that just finished mooing.
Yeah. So and Koken says it here: Texas brisket and tacos, man. Absolutely, like Texas barbecue hits different. But I'm telling you what, man. You know what Pittsburgh is when it comes to food? A very, very underrated pizza city.
And it should not be.
It should not be. But when you think about great pizza cities, obviously you think about New York, you think about Chicago and Detroit, you think about like the obvious ones.
Yeah. Michigan's got a different kind of pizza than Chicago, very different than Chicago's. Chicago's is different than New York's. But all of them are very different than, by the way, actual pizza in Italy.
Yeah,
as long as we're being clear about that.
No, it's very true. That was an experience whenever I was in Rome for my honeymoon. But yeah, Pittsburgh is a very, very good pizza city. Some phenomenal pizza in this area for sure.
You know, we're the top 10 grossing restaurants in all of Western Pennsylvania are based, Chris. Do you know where the top 10 grossing, the top 10 biggest money-making restaurants in all of Western Pennsylvania, where they are?
Right here.
Literally right here. They're all in downtown Pittsburgh. They're within 1.25 miles of where I'm sitting right now. The top 10 grossing restaurants. Just had to throw that. I didn't know that until this past weekend. It's really cool. God, they make money. I mean, there's a lot of steak and stuff. That's what made me think of it here.
Oh, steak is, some of the steak in downtown Pittsburgh.
Seafood and whatever. Yeah, it's outrageous. Yeah. Taylor's dad, Greg Haas, she's our hockey writer for those of you who don't ever leave the football realm. He says, I brought your hockey writer and her friend to Pittsburgh to watch Penguins training camp many years ago. Both loved the city and the rest is history. Yeah, she's here with us forever. That's for sure. That's pretty cool. Michael says Pittsburgh's easy to get around in. Walking to places is easy. We totally killed this. this predictions thing. Like, some people are trying to squeeze their predictions, and I keep putting them up there. There just aren't that many. Here's what I will say about the predictions before we go off for the day here. And then the PEF can have the last word on the screen. My belief is that this defense has the capability to be special if the parts, how do I want to put this here? Here's what I'm trying to say, Chris. You can help me out. I haven't had nearly enough coffee yet. Because you and we talked about this in Latrobe a lot, where you had the coverage people concept, and it excited both of us because you had three guys that you could move around and do a lot of different things with. And then in turn, you really freed up a lot of other assets to go chase the quarterback, to go chase into the backfield. If that's managed in an intelligent way and an unpredictable way, and a don't just sit on what you've got if you've got it way, I believe that this defense can be a top 3, top 5. And in that event, I could see the Steelers being a very, very good team. If that doesn't happen, if it looks like, we got beat, but let's just hunker down, meaning defensively, let's just hunker down and tackle better. You know, the typical Mike Tomlin responses to adversity, then it's not going to be anything special. Offense, I think we can agree that the offense just needs to be ordinary. The offense doesn't even need to be great.
No, the offense doesn't need to be otherworldly or revolutionary or top 5, top 10. I think as long as the offense can pretty much be able to put up consistently 24, 25 points a game, and that in today's NFL, that's not a lot. That's middle of the pack. That's you're not going to be up there. You're not trying to win shootouts against the Bengals all the time. But if that defense, it really does hinge on the defense. I know there's a lot of focus on the offensive side with Aaron Rodgers and wide receiver 2 and everything. But man, if this defense is as good as it is on paper, or possibly even better, if their entire vision plays out the way that they're envisioning it, with Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay and Joey Porter Jr. and these guys being able to lock down anybody that they face, doesn't matter who they're facing, that would give the pass rush, which has TJ Watt, who's one of the best in the world, Alex Highsmith, who's a great edge rusher, to have Patrick Queen, who's a great blitzer, to have Cam Hayward, who's still playing on an all-pro level at age 36. Like, that would give those guys more time to get after. Like, literally, if that entire vision comes true, this will be a top 3 defense in the league. No doubt about it. Now, there's one thing to like plan for that to happen. A lot of different things can make that not happen. Maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe it's not. Maybe the chemistry is not there for whatever reason. Maybe they have to deal with injuries, and so they're constantly shuffling guys, and they never get a chance to really fully execute what they want to do. But if they get the opportunity to play what they want to play, and it comes to fruition, like, and if that remember the last team that won this, the last Steelers team that won the Super Bowl, they didn't have a great offense. They had a great quarterback, but they had a bad offensive line. They had a running back.
They struggled, yes.
They had a running back who, yes, was great at one point, but was on the wrong side of a major knee injury.
And they had a number 1 wide receiver who they didn't realize was a number 1 wide receiver until the final drive.
Right. I mean,
I don't think anybody respected Santonio Holmes fully until the last drive.
But that Steelers, they won a game that season by a score of 11-10. Like, that offense was not very good, but that defense was phenomenal. One of the best defenses of this century. That's the reason why they got to that stage to play in the Super Bowl, and then having that franchise quarterback helped get you over the top and win the game. But yes, like, if this defense can be that good, like a top 3 defense, this is a team that's very capable of winning at least one playoff game for sure. That's my prediction. My official record prediction will be coming out Sunday night on our app.
Yeah, mine will be coming out in 2000 and never. I appreciate everybody who checked out today's double shot of Steelers and who's been checking it all along. I'd be remiss if I didn't remind everybody that Chris and I do our actual work, like our day job, happens at the DK Pittsburgh Sports app, and we would love to have you along for that. We've been blown away, to be honest with you, with the response that we've gotten ever since I've been bringing up with people that if you email me, I'll get you the premium level at a rate that you will not turn down. It's really, really low. DK at DKPittsburghSports.com is the email address for that. You have to download the app first into your Apple or your Android device. Then shoot me the email, and I'll get you through the rest of the way here. Chris, what's going on for your Labor Day weekend?
I'm going to lay low for a little bit. It's kind of it's like once Monday starts, which
is Labor Day, and the Steelers are practicing, we found out today. So
yes, they are. So once Monday comes, I don't stop going 1,000,000 miles an hour until they stop playing football. So Saturday and Sunday is I'm going to do a little bit here and there. I'll track some news if it happens. I'm going to write one more thing, like my record prediction coming out Sunday. But most of my Labor Day weekend is going to be doing as little as I possibly can, because
same here.
Once Monday comes, that's not an option anymore.
Yeah, my son's coming home. Actually, he'll be home in about 2 or 3 hours over from Philadelphia, where he goes to school.
Awesome.
And we're going to have some fun over the weekend. And then we will not, somebody asked here, we will not have a show on Labor Day. We're not crazy like that. That doesn't mean we won't be working, but we're not going to have any of the shows, the daily shots or the double shots or any of that stuff on Labor Day, in large part because nobody listens to them or watches them. It's just the audience goes like this, because to their credit, they have other things to do with their lives. But we will be back on Tuesday with all of our stuff. Go get the app.